Siapanya yang hari ini?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Respectable, the Vice Rector of University of Mataram, Mr. Professor Akmaluddin, PhD.
Honorable Dean Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Mataram, Mr. Dr. Ihsan Rois, MSI.
Honorable, the Vice Dean Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Mataram. Vice Dean 1, Mr. Diswandi, PhD. Vice Dean 2, Mr. Saipul Arni Musyaf, PhD. And Vice Dean 3, Mr. Dr. Lalu Edi Herman Mulyono, SAMM.
Honorable the Head of Economic Development Department, Ms. Dr. Lulu Fadlianti, SAMSI. Honorable the Head of Accounting Department, Ms. Bayi Anggun Hilendri Lestari, SAMSI AKCA. Honorable the Head of Management Department, Ms. Dr. Bayi Handayani, SAMM, all of the lecturers, students, and guests of our event today.
Respected our invited speakers, Ms. Professor Malgorzata Baran from Collegium Civitas, Poland.
Mr. Dr. David Zeng from University of Murdoch, Australia.
Mr. Professor Mansur Afifi from University of Mataram, Indonesia.
Ms. Dr. Li Jingping from National University of Singapore.
Associate Professor Zazida Janmot, PhD from University of Uttara, Malaysia.
And Ms. Farzana Binte Iftehar, MBA, MM from Beijing International Study University, China.
Host of this event, Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Mataram, and also the CEO host, STIA IMM Mataram, University of Wahid Hashim Semarang, and University Adi Rajasa Reswara Sanjaya. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will watch the performance of Present. Please welcome Present Performance. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second International Conference on Economic Issues 2024
with the theme
Sustainable Development for Post-Pandemic Recovery, Economic Transformation, Regional and Tourism Innovation. Distinguished guests, respected speaker, and honored participants, I am Ikomang Erhardi Pakusadewo Darta.
And I'm Bai Arnita Hairuzami.
The Master of Ceremony would like to say welcome to our event today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, by reciting Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, the opening ceremony of the Second International Conference on Economic Issues
with the theme
Sustainable Development for Post-Pandemic Recovery, Economic Transformation, Regional and Tourism Innovation, today, 6 November 2024.
The next agenda is reciting the Holy Quran that will be recited by Miss Dina. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna lil muttaqina mafaza. Hadaiqa a'naba. وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا صدق الله العظيم. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The next agenda is singing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. To all of the attendants are requested to stand up. To all of the attendants, please return to your seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the next agenda, the report of the Chair of the International Seminar Committee, we would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Baiul Haq SAM APPEC. Please welcome to the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Cek. Cek tes. Tes. Tes cek. Baik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to start my speech with pantun. Ada banyak jomblo ngenes. Welcome to Icones. The Honorable Vice Rector 4, Prof. Akmaluddin. Thank you for coming, Prof. Vice Dean 1, Bapak Diswandi PhD. Head of Economic Departments, Ibu Dr. Lulu Fadlianti, with his beautiful secretary, Ibu Saripta. Secretary of Study Programs D3 per Pariwisata, Bapak Bagus. And then our keynote speakers that attend this room, Ibu Sazida. Welcome to Lombok, Ibu. And then all of the participants, thank you for coming to this international seminar. And then as a chairperson, I would like to report some points. The first one is this agenda has two activities. This event has two activities. The first one is international seminar on this day, and then followed by international conference on this day also, and then followed tomorrow. And then as the data that given to me from Pak Padli, we have more than 100 article submissions within more than 300 scholars, researchers, and then also lecturers has been participating in this international conference on economic issue 2024. Give applause to us. And then the next one is, I would like to report that they're coming from more than 20 institutions, both national and then international institutions. So I'm so proud of you, my committee. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your dedications. And then as the representing my committee, I would like to ask your apology if there is something wrong, if there is mistakes in arrangement of this event. So thank you to all. Thank you for coming to this international conference on economic issues. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, and then enjoy the international seminar. Thank you.
The next agenda, the speech of Dean Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Mataram, Dr. Ihsan Rois, MSE, which will be represented by Vice Dean 1, Mr. Diswandi, PhD. The time is yours.
I have prepared a very long speech for this morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished Vice Rector for Planning, Collaboration and Information System, Professor Akmaluddin. Respected keynote speakers, esteemed colleagues and honored guests. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and warm greeting for all of you. The one who attended online or in person here. It is both an honor and a pleasure to stand before you today on behalf of the Faculty of Economics and Business University of Mataram as we gather to open the International Conference on Economic Issues 2024. This year, our theme, Sustainable Development for Post-Pandemic Recovery, Economic Transformation, Regional and Tourism Innovation, It's a timely and urgent call to rethink, reimagine, and redesign our economies in the face of the global challenge we continue to navigate. In recent years, the impact of the pandemic have echoed across sectors worldwide, creating shifts and accelerating trends that we must address to foster resilience and sustainable growth. Our themes remind us of the critical role of sustainable development, focusing on economic transformation and innovation in both regional economies and tourism sectors. It is a call to explore how we can implement policies, strategies, and innovation that enable our communities to not just recover but thrive in the years ahead. We are privileged to have with us a distinguished panel of keynote speakers who bring diverse perspective and expertise to this forum. Professor Malgorzata Baran from Collegium Civitas Poland, Professor Mansur Afifi from our very own University of Mataram, Dr. David Zhang from Murdoch University Australia, Dr. Li Jingping from the National University of Singapore, Associate Professor Sajida Janmot Khan, PhD from University Utara Malaysia, Mrs. Farzana binti Iftihar from Beijing International Studies University, China. Each of these famous academics and professionals has made impactful contribution to the field, and their insights today will undoubtedly guide us toward deeper understanding and actionable pathways. Ladies and gentlemen, sustainable development is the heart of our global agenda now more than ever. For regions like West Nusa Tenggara, where tourism and regional development are vital to economic stability and growth, this conference presents a unique opportunity to share insight and strategies that align with our goals. As we examine the topic of economic transformation, it is essential that we consider not only economic indicators, but also the social and environmental dimensions that make our development truly sustainable. I am especially grateful to the Department of Economics, to Dr. Lulu Pardianti and her super team, give applause, for organizing this important conference and bringing us all together. This event represents the spirit of collaboration and intellectual curiosity that we foster here at the University of Mataram. It is through this gathering that we bring knowledge gaps, build network, and lay the groundwork for initiative that can bring positive change to our communities and beyond. Let us use this conference as a platform to share our research, discuss new ideas, and challenge each other in the spirit of innovation. Together, we can create a more sustainable and prosperous future, not just for our regions, but for the world. With that, I wish you all productive and insightful conference. May our discussions inspire meaningful solution and collaboration that continue long after this event concludes. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pergi ke Irian melihat cendrawasih. Sekian dan terima kasih.
Thank you to Mr. Diswandi PhD for the delightful speech. Now, this is the high time for us to listen the speech from the Vice Rector for University of Mataram and officially open the international seminar. To Mr. Professor Akmaluddin PhD, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah, la hawla wa la quwata illa billah, ma ba'du. The Honorable Dr. Diswandi, Vice Dean for Academic Affairs, represented Dean of Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Mataram, the Honorable Heads of Department within the Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Mataram, the respected chairmen of the Second International Conference on Economic Issues 2024, and distinguished guests, esteemed participants, and valued colleagues. Hang on. What's wrong with this? I'm sorry about this. It's trouble. Well, I'd like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished speakers, Associate Professor Sazida Jan Muhammad Khan, PhD, from University of Mataram, Malaysia, who has joined us here. And also I'd like to extend with the privilege to have Professor Manzur Afifi from the University of Mataram, also with us. He should be here in person. And warm virtual welcome goes to Dr. David Zhang from Murdoch University, Australia. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Zhang last week at Murdoch University. It is wonderful to continue our discussion, our dialogue here. Thank you, Dr. Zhang, for your kindness and hospitality during our visit to Murdoch last week. Joining us online as well, Professor Malgorzata Baran from Collegium Civitas, Poland, Dr. Li Jingping from National University of Singapore, and Ms. Farzana Binti Ibtihar, MBA, MM, from Beijing International Studies University, China. We deeply value your expertise and are grateful for your participation. It is a great honor for me to stand before you here today representing the Rector of University of Mataram to welcome you all to the Second International Conference on Economic Issues with the theme Sustainable Development for Post-Pandemic Recovery, Economic Transformation, Regional Integration, and Tourism Innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this special occasion to provide a brief information to the University of Mataram, especially to our guests. It was established in October 1st, 1962. Our university has experienced significant growth over the decade and currently comprises 9 faculties and 1 postgraduate program, encompassing a total of 76 study programs. And our vision is to become a research-based university with international competitiveness, actively contributing to the development of a sustainable and progressive society. We are proud to be supported by over 1,385 faculty members and 1,250 administrative staff, as well as a vibrant student body of more than 35,000 students. To realize our vision of becoming a leading university with global competitiveness, the University of Mataram continuously encourages faculty deans to initiate more international activities like this conference, as well as collaborative research with overseas universities. This initiative are aimed to producing joint publication that elevate the University of Mataram reputation at the global stage. University of Mataram is fully committed to supporting this effort by providing funding as long as there are clear and impactful outcomes. This year, the University of Mataram has hosted more than 20 international conferences, with each faculty organizing at least 2 conferences. We are greatly appreciate the dedication of the head of the study program and faculty deans who have made this achievement possible. Before I conclude my speech, I'd like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to the organizing committee whose tireless effort have brought this conference to life. I would also like to sincerely thank to our co-hosts and partners whose collaboration has been invaluable in making this event possible. Your dedication to fostering academic and professional dialogue on these pressing topics is genuinely inspiring. Thank you for your steadfast commitment to excellence, which has transformed this conference into a truly remarkable experience for everyone involved. In conclusion, I trust this conference will play a significant role in driving positive outcomes for sustainable economic recovery and growth, while also opening doors for future collaboration. I encourage all participants to seize this opportunity to exchange ideas, expand their perspectives, and strengthen professional networks. And once again, I extend a warm welcome and wish every success and fruitful discussion throughout this conference. And finally, with your permission, ladies and gentlemen, let us together recite Al-Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And I declare the second Conference of Economic Issues 2024 is officially open. Thank you, and billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Mr. Professor Akmaluddin, PhD, for delightful speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, for through this event smoothly, we would like to invite you to have presiding prayer all together, which will be led by Mr. Albi Hassan. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Allow me to lead this prayer in an Islamic way. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuafi na'amahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karimi 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Habibina wa Syafi'ina wa Dhuhrina wa Mustafa wa Maulana Muhammad. Allahumma Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una. Allahumma awsil du'ana majtama'na ma hauna bisababhi. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ridhaka wal jannah wa na'udzu bika min sakhatika wan nar. Bismillahilladzi la yadurruhu ma ismihi syai'un fil ardi wala fis sama' wa huwas samiul alim. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah innaka antal wahhab. Rabbana hab lana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata a'yun waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar wa adkhilnal jannata ma'al abrar ya aziz ya ghafar ya rabbal alamin. Bifadlika subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Al-Fatihah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The next agenda, hand over the plaque to Associate Professor Sazida Janmot, PhD, from University of Uttara, Malaysia, and Mr. Professor Dr. Mansur Afifi, from University of Mataram, Indonesia, that will be given by the Vice Rector 4 of University of Mataram, Mr. Professor Akmaluddin, PhD, and Vice Dean 1, Mr. Diswandi, PhD.
Please give a round of applause to this agenda. Okay.
Next event, implementation agreement. It is a great honor. Sorry. The next is documentation session. We please all the invited guests and all of the participants this documentation to the stage session.
Please give your best smile on camera. And 1, 2, 3.
Next event, implementation agreement. It is a great honor to welcome you all here today to witness the signing of the implementation agreement between University of Utara Malaysia, represented by Associate Professor Zazida Janmot PhD, and Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Mataram, by Ms. Dr. Luluk Fadlianti, SA MSE. Please join me in welcome them both to the stage. And also to the Vice Dean 1, Mr. Diswandi, PhD.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to this agenda. With this signing, we mark the beginning of an exciting new chapter of collaboration between University of Utara Malaysia and University of Mataram. We look forward to witnessing the many accomplishments that will follow from this agreement. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to this agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause of this agenda. Once again, with this signing, we mark the beginning of an exciting new chapter of collaboration between University of Utara Malaysia and University of Mataram. We look forward to witnessing the many accomplishments that will follow from this agreement. Honorable speakers, participants, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, that's all our opening ceremony program. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and we close by reciting Alhamdulillahirabbil Alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our main agenda, the seminar and discussion. I'm sorry. Thank you to Mr. Professor Akmaluddin PhD, Vice Rector for University of Mataram for joining this event. And the next agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our main agenda, seminar and discussion session. The seminar and discussion session will be handled by the moderator.
We cordially invite our handsome and great moderator, Mr. Rizan Ada MA, the lecturer at Department of Development Economic, Faculty Economic and Business, University of Mataram. He also research fellows at National Chengji University in Taiwan and incoming research associate at RWTH University in Germany. His expertise in behavioral economic, energy economics, and environmental economic. He has numerous publications, internationally reputable journal. So, Mr. Rizan Ada MA, please come to the stage.
Thank you for Master of Ceremony. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kurang semangat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Vice Dean, Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Mataram, Mr. Diswandi, PhD, that always give support to all of our agenda here. our beloved and the Honorable Head of Department of Development Economics, Ms. Lulu Fadlianti, Dr. Lulu Fadlianti. Thank you for always together with us, and all of my colleagues, all of my friends, distinguished speakers, and all of the conference participants. So, first of all, it's my honor to welcome you all to the International Conference of Economics Issues in 2024. So this conference organized by Department of Development Economics, Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Mataram, with co-host Universitas Bengkulu, STIE IMM Mataram, Universitas Wahid Hashim Semarang, and Adira Jasa Reswara Sanjaya University Bandung. So for the theme of today's conference is Sustainable Development for Post-Pandemic Recovery, Economic Transformation, Regional Integration, and Tourism Innovations. Is particularly timely and relevant given the extraordinary challenge and opportunities presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. So before we begin our sessions, I will give a bit brainstorming. Welcome to our Vice Dean 2, Mr. Saipul Arni Musyab, PhD. Thank you for coming with us. Okay, sustainable development for post-pandemic recovery is a very important issue for our today's life. The journey through challenge of our recent years has underscored the importance of resilience and adaptability. As economies recover and rebuild, this conference offers us an invaluable opportunity to exchange insight on how sustainable practices can not only foster growth, but also strengthen our ability to respond for future global challenges. So it's really encouraging for us to see a representation from a diverse range of perspectives, with keynote speakers joining us today from 6 countries, from Poland, Australia, Indonesia, Malaysia, China, and Singapore. So with that spirit, I invite everyone to actively participate, pose questions, and think about how we can each contribute to this collective goal. Baik, biar tidak terlalu kaku, saya punya pantun dulu, biar kita sama-sama semangat mengikuti conference hari ini. Bilang cakep ya? Ya? Belum. Banyak bunga melati di taman. Kurang keras. Belum. Banyak bunga melati di taman. Harum wangi seharian. Daripada dikekang-kekang oleh pasangan. Gak berani. Mending hadiri Icones dengan penuh kegembiraan. Thank you, thank you. Sudah selesai. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to invite our distinguished speaker from University Utara Malaysia and University of Mataram to join me on the stage. Please welcome Asok Professor Sazida Jan Mohkan, PhD, and Professor Dr. Mansur Afifi with a round of applause. Thank you, thank you. As a hybrid conference, so we will try to divide our session into 2 sessions. each focus on different aspect of our main theme. So in each session, we will have three speakers. We will have three speakers. We will share their insight, followed by a 15 minutes for Q&A sessions. So I invite all of the audience to prepare the questions, because maybe the committee will have some door prize, maybe. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay, thank you, Mr. Haq. For the first speaker, Professor Malgorzata Baran from Collegium Civitas Poland has prepared a recorded presentation for us today. So Prof. Baran is head of management department at Collegium Civitas and the professor of economics, specializing in management studies. Her scientific interests include human capital management in organizations. So maybe we will now play the video for Professor Baran, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Małgorzata Baran. I'm an associate professor of management. I represent Collegium Civitas in Warsaw from Poland. I'm a member of Management Institute and head of management department in Collegium Civitas. Let me share my presentation with you. Dear hosts and guests, I must say it's a true pleasure to be back at this wonderful university where I had such a memorable experience during my study visit 6 months ago. And I'm very grateful to the organizers for creating such an event. And thank you for invitation. I do look forward to our next meeting. I have chosen the topic of generational trends in pro-environmental innovation for my presentation today, and I would like to share with you the results of my research. Why this topic? The generational differences have gained significant interest in both of context of human capital and also individuals functioning across all areas of our everyday life. Many researchers suggest that organizational differences influence personal values, behaviors, and also popular beliefs. This is main reason why we did interest in such a subject. The aim of our study was to look into the determinants of pro-environmental innovative behaviors in the generational context. We wanted to provide valuable insights into the complex interplay of environmental awareness, creativity, risk-taking propensity, and proactive coping, and within the pro-innovative environmental behaviors across 3 generations. We wanted also to highlight significant generational differences in the correlation between identified determinants and pro-environmental innovative solutions. Now let me draw your attention to the main assumptions we had established based on the literature review conclusions. For our study, we have used a model in which a composite of 4 variables of pro-environmental innovative behavior was correlated with that behavior. We used Scott's model, which assumed that innovation plus environmental awareness translates into pro-environmental innovative behavior. And conducting systematic literature review, we have found out that the research theme of pro-environmental behaviors in a generational context has not been undertaken. And we hope that utilizing generational differences would allow us to understand which determinants are characteristics of a given generation in the area of pro-environmental behaviors and what relationship exists between them. And to understand innovative, pro-environmental innovative behaviors, risk-taking propensity, proactiveness, self-starting behavior turned here as a creativity, all of them have been shown to be key characteristics. And indeed, risk-taking propensity has been closely linked in the literature in prior research with innovation and innovative behaviors. Whilst, for example, proactivity in individuals has also been shown to be linked to pro-innovative behaviors. Finally, we saw the creativity as the acting factor and key cornerstone for innovation and new behaviors among individuals, with research demonstrating clear positive relationships between creativity and innovation. And as you can see, the pro-environmental innovative behavior is concerned explicitly with such innovative behaviors in order to develop pro-environmental behaviors. There is also a need, we saw also a need to understand environmental innovation and awareness. So in doing so, we wanted to show a link between pro-innovative behaviors and environmental awareness. And we tested to identify causal links between those social cognitive threats and actual environmental actions in daily life. So, to summarize, here is the methodology we have come out with. We have used the CAVI survey data with regard to pro-environmental innovative behavior to answer the research question. And our research question was, what are the main determinants of pro-environmental innovative behaviors in the context of 3 generations? And our main assumption was there are significant correlations between environmental awareness, creativity, risk-taking propensity, and proactive coping, and pro-environmental innovative behaviors. And these relationships differ depending on the generation, I mean generation X, Y, and Z. The survey was implemented in 5 European countries within our project. There was Greece, Poland, Portugal, Sweden, and United Kingdom. The sample size was in total 2,503 respondents, approximately 500 interviews per country. The survey sampling design was based on the random sample scheme stratified by gender, age, size of place of residence, and household size. Sample was recruited from 5 countries, as I mentioned, and in order to show European variety, the cultural and national variation through cross-country analysis. And the respondents were sourced from internet panel chosen for demographic diversity. And the survey's design included also a preliminary study, pilot study, with 50 participants per country, which help us to refine the questionnaire. And in accordance to sample characteristics, you may see that participants represented equally all 5 countries with 20% each of the sample. Males and females were represented almost equally. The age of participants band with the contribution of representatives of 3 generations, generation X, Y, and Z. After the data collection was completed, we used the SPSS software for analysis. To observe the potential relationship among the scales, a correlation analysis was performed for that 5 dimensions, and the level of significance was set to 0.01. What kind of measurement scales we used? 5 scales have been used in the study. There is environmental awareness scale, creativity scale, proactive coping scale, risk-taking propensity, and daily habits. as a proxy for environmental action. Each of the scales used a five-level Likert scale. To answer the research question, first, descriptive statistics were analyzed for all interval variables in terms of distributions, composite reliability, the mean variance extracted. Secondly, the correlation coefficients between ecological awareness, creativity, risk-taking propensity, and proactive coping with pro-environmental innovative behavior were verified. In the build model I showed you before, the variables were analyzed as predictors of pro-environmental innovative behavior using path analysis. And finally, differences between generation X, Y, and Z in terms of the level of four variables and innovative pro-environmental behavior were analyzed using analysis of variance. And the study used path analysis based on the maximum likelihood method to examine the relationship, all the predictors of innovative behavior. And what was the result of that huge research? Statistically significant differences were found in terms of all of our variables. It follows that people who are more environmentally conscious, creative, willing to take risks and able to cope proactively are more likely to engage in behaviors that promote environmental innovation. It was worth noting also that the positive correlation between risk-taking propensity and proactive coping was significantly stronger in Generation X than in Generation Y. In addition, the positive correlation between environmental awareness and proactive coping was significantly stronger in Generation Z than in the others. And for example, Generation X showed higher environmental awareness than the other generations, while risk-taking propensity was the highest in Generation Z compared to the others. And Generation Z also showed lower proactive coping compared to the other two generations. What does it mean? To moderate positive correlations between environmental awareness, creativity across all generations suggests a link between them. That could mean that increasing environmental awareness might also enhance creative thinking. Second thing, the weak positive correlation between environmental awareness, risk-taking propensity, particularly in Generation X, indicates that while there is some link between environmental awareness and risk-taking, it's not strong. This might suggest, in our opinion, that environmental initiatives or campaigns that require a high degree of risk-taking may not appeal broadly across all of the generations. Another thing, the positive correlation between environmental awareness and proactive coping, especially strong in Generation Z, implies that younger individuals who are environmentally aware are also more likely to engage in proactive coping and other promotional events related to environment. To sum up, Generation X showed the highest levels of environmental awareness, while Generation Z showed a greater willingness to take risks, and in turn, Generation Z showed lower levels to proactive coping compared to the other generations. So younger people may need more support in developing proactive coping activities. The positive correlation between the tendency to take risk and proactive coping is stronger in Generation X than in the other generation. That indicates, in our opinion, that Generation X representatives who are more likely to engage in proactive coping strategies demonstrate higher level of innovative behavior. So it turned out that we have confirmed that people who are more ecologically aware, creative, willing to take risks and able to cope proactively are more likely to engage in behaviors promoting environmental innovations. Each generation, although each generation requires tailored approach to encouraging and developing innovative pro-environmental behavior and developing ecological awareness among them. The categorical approach to generations used in the study may overlook some nuances within the overlapping between the groups. As you can see, we found out some limitations of our study because the generational boundaries are not always clear. The cross-sectional nature of the study also limits its ability to capture the evolution of these characteristics over time. So future study could use a longitudinal approach to track changes in these constructs in individuals at different stages of their life. The study opens up the opportunity for further research to explore the factors underlying these three generational differences. Future research could explore the role of socio-economic, technological and cultural influences in shaping pro-environmental innovative behavior across generations. And in addition, longitudinal studies could provide information on the evolution of these characteristics in their interrelationships over time within individuals and also within those three generations. Our study, I suppose, offers also significant implications for designing target environmental policies and also educational programs. Understanding the varying relationship between analyzed constructs across generations can help, obviously, in designing age-specific intervention and policies. Environmental campaigns could be tailored differently for each generation, for example, emphasizing proactive coping in younger generations and leveraging the higher environmental awareness in older generations. In multi-generational workplaces, this knowledge can be used to foster, for example, better collaboration and understanding, recognizing that risk-taking and proactive coping may vary across age groups in a team. The funding also can inform the development of educational curriculums and programs that cater to the specific needs and strengths of different age groups and cohorts, particularly in fostering creativity and innovative behaviors. This can inform multinational organizations and policymakers in tailoring their strategies and policies to different generational settings. So I must say this is the end of my presentation, so I would like to thank you all for your attention, and I hope to see you soon either in Collegium Civitas in Poland or in Mataram University. Thank you once more for the invitation, and
Thank
see
you,
you.
Prof.
Bye-bye.
Baran. Please give applause to Prof. Baran. Yeah, welcome to students from Multimedia University Malaysia to joining with us today. They are students sitting in here from Malaysia, Prof. A student from Multimedia University Malaysia. Yeah, they will joining with us today. And then thank you once again to Professor Baran. And we will move to our second speaker. Joining with us today from Murdoch University, Australia, by Zoom, Dr. David Zhang will sharing insight on a very interesting topic. Dr. David Zhang is a lecturer at management at College of Business, Murdoch University, and Dr. David has over 25 years of transnational working experience in secondary and higher education, educational and business administration, and business consultancy in Australia and China's context. He is an expert in cross-cultural management and international business. And Dr. David is currently academic chair of undergraduate studies at College of Business, Murdoch University. Dr. David Zhang, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh yeah, thank you. Please begin when you are ready.
Okay, let me just, still working on let me just try to share my slides. So we can just start. Okay, so I can't see myself, but can you see my slides here? Let's see whether it's been working properly. Oh, here we go. I can see myself now, and let me just. So I think it's in a play mode. And I don't see my slides is in slideshow mode, but in editing mode. Is that okay for everyone? So that we don't have to waste our time, precious time. So can I? So can I get some feedback from the conference that the slides is showing properly before I start?
Yes, Prof.
Call me
you
David.
can start.
Okay, I'll just start like this. Seems that I've got different view, once on the slide editing show, but once on the slide show. But nevertheless, maybe we just start. So thank you very much, everyone. And thank you for the University of Mataram and the rector, Professor Bonbon, and colleagues over there, collaborators over there, for inviting me to participate to this International Conference of Economic Issues 2024. So I bring with me the topic of an educational program, which is a pilot study that have been done, and we are still currently working on this program and on this research. So as you can see here, I'm going to talk about the work integrated learning through community engagement for social, economical, and environmental impact. So maybe I should introduce the research by giving an overview of it first. So I'm going to talk about in this time theoretical frameworks and how we design the educational program and how the educational program is being delivered. And I'm going to provide some preliminary findings from the research we conducted to this educational program for the very common purpose of research, bringing research to inform teaching itself. So please give me any time, give me a yell anytime if there's any tech issue, because I'm aware that international online connection may cause may have some problems. Just let me know. Otherwise, yes, the theoretical framework for this educational program I'm going to introduce shortly is, has been shown, work integrated learning and also based on experiential learning theories. And actually, when designing the program, we also had embedded another two theories, which is intercultural competence and internalization of curriculums. So um, I don't see my slides are running on the screen. Could you please confirm that actually I'm on the slides of theoretical frameworks rather than the first slides that seems to be shown on my screen?
Okay, Dr. David, wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Could be
Please move
something
to the
wrong on my
next
end.
slide.
So I think in the conference I'm still on the first slides, but actually I'm on the third slides. Can you confirm that? Maybe I should reshare the screen. Sorry for that.
Next.
Yeah, it's not moving, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not moving. Wait.
Okay, no problem. Let me just try to see how it goes. I think the issue is on my side of the computer. I make apology because I think my company computer does not work well on Teams. That could be an issue. But anyway, let me just quickly try
Yeah,
to solve
I'm
it.
so sorry for the inconvenience. Please, can you move?
Sorry for everyone. Yeah, I just stopped sharing first.
Yes, maybe you stop sharing first, and our
Yeah, and open a
operator
new
here
one.
will operate the PowerPoint for us. I'm so sorry for
Can
the
you?
inconvenience, Dr. Zhang. Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah. So I have stopped sharing. Maybe I didn't share in the correct one. Let me just do it again. Okay, screen two. That should solve the problem now because I'm using multiple screen, I think. Here we go.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Sorry
it's
for
working
that,
now.
everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah, back to the topic. There was four theoretical frameworks that supports the design and the delivery of the program. However, because the research we have done so far and published so far is on the first two, so I just briefly talk about the first two instead. So the work integrated learning by its definition is the inclusion of work integrated learning programs into higher education course curriculum, intending to enhance job readiness, employability by providing an environment for students to develop their and use their theoretical framework and related skills, so that's to prepare them better for the later graduation workforce and the careers before they enter the workforce. And the other side, the experiential learning theory, it's a very common one, and I love it. I use it in all my teaching. Actually, I would like to introduce the very old one by Copes and Fry back in 1971. There were a lot studied and developed from this one, but let's stay with the most original and essential, which is the process whereby knowledge is created and result in the combination of grasping and transforming experience. Basically, this model on the right-hand side describes how the knowledge is being created through experiential learning or through experience and through the application of knowledge. For example, if we look at this, it's divided into four quarters. The active experimentation actually refers to when the students after graduation start to use and try out their knowledge learned from textbook to solve real world problems or in their employment. And then by applying their knowledge, we've got they will learn actual experience of doing so, which is called concrete experience stage compared to the active experimentation stage. As they move on, then there have to be experience they have learned in having those extra, and then applicants and actors will think and rethink and reflect through their observation of, say, what's happened in today's work. At night, I'm thinking about how I use textbook knowledge to conquer a task and how does that works. So this is called reflection and the observation stage. And then the outcome becomes what we call abstract conceptualization, which is learning from experience of applying textbook knowledge or previous knowledge into a task and reflect it, and then becomes what we call actually, in other words, consolidation of knowledge. So where the new knowledge has been created. And then this is a loop, and the learning can happen in any stage or start in any stage, depends on the situation of the actors and learners. So we quickly move to and about the educational program we constructed here at Murdoch Business School. And again, the research is about case study. We would rather call it a pilot case study because it is in a smaller scale, it's a qualitative study. We hope that we can implement in a broader scale and get more richer data in the future. So I introduced the eco-economy projects, improving livelihoods above and below the surface. This is a program that has been operating since 2021. Yeah, 4 years ago, and it's purposefully developed a program designed to extend work integrate learning to international context, and where we recruit multidisciplinary students to work inclusively in fishing islands, actually near Lombok, and students were sent to work in the communities and seek for alternative income and resources for these shark fishing islands and trying to provide and improve their overall well-being of that community. And it is certainly built upon Murdoch University's university themes of stability, equity, diversity, and inclusion, and it's run by Murdoch Business School and in collaboration with International and an international NGO operating on Lombok. So we send students to Lombok through this program for a 2 week intensive learning with the communities, and certainly is funded by externally, not only internally but also externally by the Australian government. So about the community, I think it's many of you may recognize it's Marine Peak Islands of Lombok, where there's little clean water supply and really minimum medical service and not quite regular schooling for children and other regular income except for fishing. In particular, the concerning matter would be shark fishing. And we send students to be there and try to find alternative income to shark fishing, and by the same time to service the community and try to improve their overall community well-being and sustain the community through ecotourism and through other sustainable initiatives. So overall, in the last 4 years, we sent 70 students there, and here's the demographics of the students. And as the project lead, I was very delighted to see that actually the students, we have a very diversified student background of up to 42 majors from different schools of the university. As you can see here, we have marine biology, conservation, wildlife biology, finance, community development, etc. So this is something really I should be encouraged and be happy to see. However, delivering the program becomes a challenge because of this multi-diverse background of the students. So back to aligning the design into the previous experiential learning model, as we can see here. So we have a pre-departure training where we use technique of high flex, which is hybrid and a flexible approach to conduct the learning session before we send students to Lombok. So where they are going to stay on campus to study 4 days of intensive learning, in which we are going to, they were taught about basic business project management skills, how to work out, conduct business feasibility studies, and also they were informed virtually by online methods about the islands and the communities. So at the same time, and sometimes spontaneously, for example, interviews in the classroom with staff, community members over there on the Mauritius Island. And certainly we prepare students for all aspects of trips, including the their traditions, their manners, and overall, and where the students started to plan before they come to the island about what's needed. And roughly, they should have some ideas about how to help the community, some business ideas, initiatives, and to come out with business proposals. So, and on the sites where they travel indeed onto Lombok, there will be 2 weeks for them, and the students were engaged by their supervisors, academic supervisors like me, and supported by local academics. Staff from the University of Mataram, actually, and we also have our collaborators and partners, the NGO who would prefer to be anonymous. So I didn't mention the name here, but yeah, organize all this to engage mentorship and to engage with the community members, where they also develop business program by working closely with the community. That includes data collection, information sharing, interviewing, chatting informally with community members, community leaders to examine flexibility of their ideas. And certainly they develop the program or the business plan together with the community under the academic and the industry supervision and mentorship. So a lot of topics, mainly on not only on community development, but also on environmental conservation, which both are sustainability initiatives. So, and the program design. So in the reflection stage, as we say here, so they will be given feedback immediately while they are engaging with the communities on the islands, and back to the hotel. Every day there will be information sessions, what we call daily reflective conversations for groups or individuals. Uh, they exchange ideas with supervision and to develop more ideas or to develop or to help to conduct their feasibility studies. And also upon return, they will have post-trip field work of reflection sessions about a couple of days so that they can finish, they can reflect and finish their final product, which is business proposal or business plan, which actually many of them has been turned into real projects and been implemented to solve the real problems. And certainly they will have to submit individual reflective journals designed to for this reflective observation stage where they reflect the application of their knowledge to help the real world solve the real world problems. So, and a bit on the learning objectives or the learning activities that's involved in this program. For example, here students designed to develop business proposals to address the community and environmental based problems. And students need to collect related and relevant information and work with the community and work with the NGO team members. Um, and the students are provided with such an immense learning experience, and they were provided with the time and these opportunities where they can apply their disciplinary knowledge from textbook, from university, into solving real world problems. And they in return got feedback from different parties to be informed about how well the application of their knowledge has been doing, and they were given feedback to improve and in which the knowledge becomes another new knowledge that will guide their future applications. And the learning objectives overall, we are looking at for this program, gaining insight to connections between actually the complicated matters of environmental, social justice, and business and sustainability, because not all of them align well. For example, business and sustainability. How to peacefully and creatively and innovatively combine these two elements for sustainability itself is a challenging task. And also, we were hoping about to help them to establish some professional and international relationship through this immense learning experience the program has given to them. And personally, I designed this to hope that they can embrace the diverse aspects and the different epistemologies underpinning the interdependence of individuals and humans and the ecosystems. And they are encouraged to do it and encouraged to be open and respect these differences and diversities for future global citizens and the practitioners on sustainability and community or eco-tourism purposes, and also build intercultural competencies that allows them to engage better with people from different cultural backgrounds. And that not only means international cultural background, but also means within a country that could be multi-diverse cultures too. So a little bit about the assessments. Back to the overall experiential learning model, we also aligned the assessment into this model. For example, they have team business reports. That's actually part of the active experimentation and concrete experience. In this model, we have seminars, presentations, that is also active. Actually, that presentation relates to all the four stages of that model, and the individual reflective journals reflects the last two stages, which is the reflective and abstract stages. So it's a well integrated program that using experiential learning model to promote learning and to actually enable students better equipped with not only knowledge but also skills for future employability and career readiness. So some preliminary findings from studying students' inputs, including interviews, their assignments, their presentation, their reflective journals, confirms that actually we did achieve the learning objectives that we wanted. So I've got some student quotation and data here. So I would like to comment is that actually students had to approach the problems from the multidisciplinary angle and learn from broader range of sources, from fishermen, from community, from academic, from Indonesian, from Australian peers. So for this broad range of sources that help to build their resilience, adaptability, and an open mindset for new ideas, different ideas, and contexts, which is very important, and also confirms that they did have obtained some professional and relationship. For example, we've got quite a few students went back to Lombok engaging with similar activities on their own expense or on other scholarships. And from the first cohort of 30 students, I think in 2021 to 2022, because I haven't analyzed the later data, some of them haven't graduated completely. But for the first 2 years cohort who have confirmed graduation, 30 students, we've got four coming on the journey of their PhD study, which is brilliant too. So,
Dr. David, can you hear me?
yep, yeah, I
Yes,
can.
you still have 5 minutes left.
Thank you for thank
Thank
you
you.
for the reminder.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, and certainly the findings are confirmed that it's all positive. The program has been designed and carried well, and let's move to the summary. So the overall, the student learn from this design for immersive learning and authentic learning experience in a cross-cultural context, in a multidisciplinary background, and the students encountered realities that actually challenge their environmental and social awareness, which is, for example, right or wrong, or what's right in textbook, seems to be not different from what's happening in the real workplace, which they used to call it wrong, but actually by understanding and working with the people who trying to struggling and solving the problem, actually that has a mindset changes. And through this, they build resilience in a way that they now try to think for real, work on real projects, deal with the real problems, and adaptably and with open mindset, etc. So, these practices, I think overall, it's more than educational, but also promotes community learning and engagement and making all these environmental and social impacts on the region, in the region of Lombok. Certainly, this program got quite a few awards in terms of enhancing learning, the program itself, and also special commendation for Indonesian Studies and Cultural Leadership last year by the Australian Indonesia Institute of the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Australia. So, and a little bit more about the business model. For example, we have two major partners. One is the Australian government, where they send students overseas to learn the differences, to experience the differences, and which has been well achieved, and deepening the people-to-people connections, which is done. And also for the NGOs work with us and survived from the pandemic struggle because it started its business in ecotourism, repurposing the shark fishing boats uh, by the revenue they created from ecotourism. That was a beautiful business model, however, challenged by pandemic. But through the last 4 years, its profile increased from the ecotourism, repurposing the fish boat to focus on other support like support to the university education and research, and also along with their more commitment to community engagement or services, which is brilliant. And I think as of last year, they claimed the repurposed boat with the repurposed boat, shark fishing boats, it's about 500 sharks being saved, equivalent to every month for the boat that has been repurposed for the eco-touring purpose by the partnership, which is brilliant. So, for the last thing I would like to mention is that actually we started collaborate with University of Mataram Student Service Program as well, and which is brilliant thing from this year
Dari
because
mana dia?
yeah,
Yang tadi dari
Halo dok.
ya.
and
Kalau
we
tadi
had a
dari
had
Indonesia.
joined program with the Faculty of Business and Economics of University of Mataram. Two university students met together. We had a lot of seminars, and we also jointly applied for recognition on the efforts that both universities and the students and academics did through our engagement and the dedication to developing educational program for sustainability, for ecotourism, and community service purposes. And this joint application is titled under the project named Global Sustainability Literacy Education, Connecting Classroom to Communities. And as of now, we are shortlisted. The final results will be announced by this Premium Global Education Award, QS Reimagine Education Awards. So together, the University of Mataram and the University of Murdoch are shortlisted and working on the final stage of the results sometime this December. So it is my privilege to announce that in this conference to share it with my colleagues in University of Mataram as well. Thank you very much. I think that will be all.
Thank you. Please give applause to to Dr. David Zhang from Murdoch University. Thank you so much once again to Dr. David Zhang for very provoking research according to work integrated learning and experiential learning theory. So his research is very interesting. Okay, once again, thank you very much. And we will move to our third speaker, Professor Dr. Mansur Afifi is here with us today. Professor Mansur Afifi is a full professor at the Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Mataram, a graduate of Ruhr Universität Bochum, Germany, and Prof. Mansur is an expert in the economics of natural resources and environment. He has published numerous scientific papers in internationally reputable journals, including Energy Policy, Forest Policy and Economics, and Ecosystem Services. And Prof. Mansur, we are very honored to have you here to share your insight with us. Please, and we will give you 20 minutes. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, distinguished Dean of the Faculty of Economics, distinguished invited speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this lovely international seminars. Okay. Okay. Please let me present my perspective about the effect of COVID-19 pandemic on Indonesia's economy. And the title of my presentation is Overcoming the Scaring Effect of COVID-19 Pandemic on Indonesia's Economy, an Unfinished Agenda. So, oh yeah. I would like to talk about several aspects of the topic, starting from introduction, pre-pandemic economics landscape, global economic impact of COVID-19, the economic impact of COVID-19 in Indonesia, policy measurement, fiscal, monetary, and practical, new growth opportunity, tourism sector recovery, and finally, current economics problems. Let's begin with introduction. As the world grapples with unprecedented challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, Indonesia's economy has faced significant disruption, leading to profound economic consequences. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a profound and far-reaching impacts on Indonesia's economy, causing significant disruption and setbacks across various sectors. And the question now is, are the scaring effects still available in the Indonesia economy today? So before pandemic, the Indonesian economy was a steady growth trajectory, boasting a robust GDP expansion, average around 5% annually over the past decade. And as we know that the economic driving sectors before pandemics, including manufacture, infrastructure development, mining and commodities, and the burgeoning digital economy. Indonesia GDP during the period 2015 until 2019 is 5.7%, and this is the highest GDP growth in the Asian region. And consumption grew at 6.2% 2% during the similar periods, and investment growth about 15.99%. We also have large scale of infrastructure projects, such as power plant, port, transportation network, which is become a key focus for the Indonesian government. Indonesia rapidly growing digital economy, spanning commerce, fintechs, and digital services. When COVID-19 pandemic appeared, global economic has been affected significantly. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a truly global impact, spreading rapidly across borders and affecting economic worldwide. Global financial market, for example, have experienced significant volatility and downturns due to the pandemic. Besides, the pandemic has disrupted global trade and supply chains with lockdowns, border closures, and transportation challenges, leading to delay, shortage, and a decline in international commerce. We have also seen that pandemic disrupted international trade and supply chains. Lockdown and border closures disrupted global supply chains, limiting the movement of goods, material, and workers across the border. Factory shut down and reduced production capacity in manufacturing hubs lead to delay in the supply of critical components and raw materials. The distribution of logistics has also been affected, what we call logistic bottleneck. And this is also caused the reduction of supply chain, mobility. How the COVID-19 affect the Indonesia's economy? The COVID-19 pandemic has had a devastating impact of Indonesia's economy, resulting in a sharp decline in economic growth and widespread disruption. The country's GDP contracted by 2.1% in 2020, making the first negative growth since the 1998 Asian financial crisis. Household consumption, a key driver of Indonesia's economy, has suffered significantly due to job losses, income insecurity, and a decline in consumer confidence. And COVID-19 also causes decline in spending and investment, indicated by consumer demand reducing, business investment declining. So, as a result, there were two sectors which are categorized as resilient and vulnerable. For example, IT, information technology, healthcare, and e-commerce are among resilient sectors. Meanwhile, tourism, hospitality, and transportation suffer due to travel restriction and decreased spending. To overcome the problem of COVID, Indonesia's government issues several policies, including fiscal, monetary policies, and also sectoral policies. Fiscal measurement of fiscal policy, including expansionary fiscal policy, stimulus packages, debt financing. Meanwhile, monetary policy include interest rate cut and liquidity injection. Government also issues several measures as sectoral response. For example, the government support manufacturing by providing tax incentives, affordable credit, and streamlining regulation to boost production and export. To revive tourism, the government provide financial assistance to hotel and airlines, launch digital marketing campaigns, and upgrade infrastructure in key tourist destinations. However, today, airfare tickets is still expensive, especially if we fly to Lombok. I don't know why. Okay, the government also strengthened Indonesia's agriculture sectors by boosting food production, improving supply chains efficiency, and providing subsidies and technical assistance to smallholders, farmers, and cooperatives. Government also invested in digital infrastructure to support e-commerce sectors. Okay, the pandemic also slightly impacted the informal sectors, particularly street vendors and small business. Informal sector workers often lack job security and social protection, resulting in significant income losses during the crisis. Despite this hardship, many informal sector workers exhibit remarkable resilience and entrepreneurial spirit. So this is also what we call blessing in disguise. Not all sectors are affected severely by the COVID, but also there's also sectors are affected positively or significantly by the COVID-19. So, due to digital acceleration, by embracing e-commerce and remote works, nowadays online shopping has surged significantly. Work from home policy has become widespread, so we can go to Rinjani, for example, while walking. So we call workation, work with vacation, yeah. Because of digital infrastructure. So investment in high-speed internet and cloud technology nowadays become very, very crucial. Consequently, the pandemic accelerated Indonesia's digital transformation, driving e-commerce and remote work. These shifts highlight the need for strong digital infrastructure. And then at consequences, many things now become changed, you know. COVID pandemic has nurtured local effort by reducing the dependency on imported goods and services by promoting local production to meet domestic demand. Other local efforts, including small, medium enterprise integration, infrastructure investment, and digitalization support. Other measure which is taken by government is upskilling the workforce to bridge the skill gap, such as reskilling program, mentorship opportunities, lifelong learning, public-private partnership, vocational training, digital literacy initiative.
Prof, I'm sorry, you still have 5 minutes left. 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's enough to finish this. COVID-19 also has influence on shift on consumer behavior and business model shifting. The pandemic has driven a surge in online shopping and remote work as consumers increasingly rely on digital platform for their daily needs. Yeah? Also, there is a preference for outdoor experience, yeah? and rise in local and sustainable purchasing. We also see that the further implication of COVID-19 pandemic, such as digital transformation, e-commerce and online retail, remote work and collaboration. We also see that nowadays, tourism sectors is in the position of recovery process. The United Nations World Tourism Organization, for example, estimate that international tourism recovery will be achieved in 2024. As many as 60% of WTO experts predict that the number of international arrival will return to position 2019 in the year 2024 or later. Economic factors and expensive ticket and accommodation are the main challenges, as I mentioned before, that the flight ticket is still expensive. Also, we have challenges now. Travel restriction due to the Ukrainian and Russian war are also a factor influencing global travel activities. As I mentioned before, also travel trends in the future. Now we have a term called workation, working while holiday. Yeah? It's an evolution of the combination of business travel and tourism, which we call leisure. Yeah? So workation has a consequences that tourism can stay longer yeah, in the tourist destination. Expense become greater. And also change in orientation of tourism development from mass tourism to quality tourism. A new tourist trend that prioritizes basic competitiveness, unique experience, high values and sustainability. And also tourists want to experience new cultures, culinary delights, language and travel to underrated place. Tourists also want to connect with nature and travel unplugged, not connected to gadgets. So activities such as camping, ecotourism and glamping will remain popular. Tourists also pay attention to the quality of product and service in the form of safety, security, cleanliness, accessibility, communication, infrastructure, public facility and service. So this is the new opportunity for us today in Indonesian economy that tourism is boosting now. Yeah? But we have also serious problem today. Current economic problem in Indonesia is what we call disinflation. Maybe some of, or maybe all of you have heard that disinflation is the diminishing inflation rate during the last 3 years, indicating the decreasing purchasing power of people. So inflation, the rate of inflation decrease slowly, in which we also face deflation. It means that this inflation is a signal that purchasing power of community is reducing now. And then we have a problem of manpower layoff. More than 50,000 workers have been laid off during last year. Now PT Sritek, one of the largest textile industry in Solo, Central Java, will be liquidated and cause layoff for 50,000 workers. Also, according to Production Manufacture Index, PMI, the industrialization accused, which marked by the decline of the index. The condition caused the decline of production level and people purchasing power, thus worsening the deflation. Percentage of middle class in Indonesia is now decreasing. So as you know that the developed countries are dominated by the middle class. So if middle class reduce, then the economic of a country is in a dangerous situation. So the question is there anything that make us optimistic about the future? Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. Please give applause to Professor Dr. Mansur Afifi for intriguing topic and really interesting in the time of pandemic, and COVID-19. Maybe we remember our condition not only in Indonesia, Malaysia, but globally. All of the industries shut down, in the household shut down, and yeah, we all together experience this, that really scary time, I think, really scary time, because no flight and anything, the mobility decrease really deep, and so many events that affected by COVID-19. It's really interesting presentation from Professor Mansur Afifi. Okay, we have a little bit time actually, but for effective time, we will move to our next speaker. Yes, Associate Professor Sazida Jan Mohkan, PhD, from University Utara Malaysia is with us today. She is an Associate Professor of Economics at University Utara Malaysia and holds several key positions, including Associate Fellow at University Utara Malaysia, Managing Editor for the Journal of Economics and Sustainability, and a Fellow at the Center for International Affairs and Cooperations. Prof. Sazida has published extensively in prestigious international journals, including the International Journal of Social Science and Economic Review, Journal of Economics and Sustainability, and International Real Estate Review. Additionally, she has received significant support from the Malaysian government in the form of grants and research funding. We are really honored to gather in here to get insight from her with us today. Please, time is yours. Professor Sazida, thank you.
Can
Giving applause to Prof. Sazida.
stand up?
Yes, of course.
Right.
You can stand up.
Terima kasih. 28 tahun mengajar masih gemetar. So I think by standing up, it will lower down my senses of, Okay, today I'm going to give something a bit similar. Oh my God, I always forgot to introduce myself. I'm Shazida Jan Muhammadan. I'm from University Utara Malaysia. For now, I'm the Executive Director for the Cooperative and also Entrepreneurship Development in University Utara Malaysia. I'm also the associate fellows for the Economy and Financial Policy Institute, also in University of Utara Malaysia. I'm also a fellow for the International Office in the University of Utara Malaysia. So today I'm going to share almost similar to what Prof has mentioned, but in the context of Malaysia. So any of you here no experience at all from COVID-19? Semuanya pernah kena infection? Pernah? Saya pun 2 kali. Semuanya sudah inject? Ke ada yang anti vaksin? we have in Malaysia few of them who are anti-vaccine. Well, that's a choice actually, okay? So today I'm going to talk about building resilience and also growth for COVID-19 in Malaysia. So basically we're going to go back about how it happened and then what Malaysia have done and how its effect until today, okay? Can I have the next slide, please? All right, the first case, if everybody of you remember, in 2019, there's a stories in the YouTube saying that there is a new virus in China. But nobody have done anything at that time. So in December 2019, there's one doctor died because of this virus. Yeah, from there, it started. In Malaysia, it started in Johor with two person infected from Singapore. Then it started to go beyond the border until these numbers was 5,279,958 cases was recorded in Malaysia website 2 days ago. So meaning COVID-19 are still around us. If we don't take care of everyone, this thing will never go away. But I don't think COVID will ever go away. Same as what we have experienced in 1918, Prof, during the Spanish flu. So it's almost the same thing happened. So if we don't do anything, this thing will prolong and might affect the whole economy again. And this is not going to be a very good view in terms of economy, okay? So for Malaysia, we have done several movement control. Of course, this is to control the pandemic at that time. Because of this control that have made, we have almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, more than 8 times of MCO. From the beginning, I think we should be blessed because no other generation from us, inshallah, will never experience the movement control order. We had the opportunity to be in MCO, yeah, because that was the moment that you have to stay at home. Kuala Lumpur was so quiet, okay? Can you go for the next slide? Okay, can you play this video will show you the moment in Kuala Lumpur during the COVID-19. Can I have the video played, please? If it's working, then we'll have some memory of the past. Can I have the sound, please? No? Is it possible? So this is how Kuala Lumpur, the most bustling cities in Malaysia, was very quiet and most of the businesses have to close down. Okay, just imagine you lost your job, family lost families due to the COVID-19, people unable to travel, you must have a passport, papers to go around, police everywhere. You can't do so much, everybody at home. On the positive side, this is also good because you're with your family. On the negative side, every day you can hear the sirens going on. Okay, me myself was among those in Kedah that be infected by COVID-19 at that time. Yeah, from my group, Prof, 22 people died. With my the group of Jamaah Masjid, we went for the prayer during Ramadan. So almost 100 over affected, including me. 22 died. Okay, but Alhamdulillah, Allah give me still have the time to be here today to tell you the stories, you know. So I think this is something that has affected everything, not only the economy, the health, and also the mind of people, okay? So the next slide, please. Next slide. So this is how Malaysia looked like compared to the rest of the ASEAN. So Malaysia was contracted in 2020 second quarter minus 17.1. That is a very bad condition. In 1997, we also contracted, but the condition is purely on the economics only. This time we are facing not only economy, but also health, which is also affected the mental of the people. If you compare among all, Malaysia among the worst, even compared to Indonesia, Malaysia are still the worst. It is a matter of how we get ready in terms of facing the new challenge and also the new type of crisis. Next, please. Okay, so these are the impact. There's a lot of different data that you can find. If you Google from MIDA, from DOSM, Department of Statistics Malaysia, from many journals, many publications, these are among. If you look at here, between 2020 only, the Malaysian government expected loss between 38 billion to 102 billion. Never in any economy in Malaysia, we have faced this much of change and this much of losses. So these are among the loss that we faced during the COVID-19. In terms of tourism, for example, tourism was among the highest contributor to the economy of Malaysia, but during COVID-19, almost all collapsed. Especially if you go to Langkawi, for example, most of the hotels have to close down, no job. People are losing their job because of this closing down, especially in the hotel. More than 56,000 people lost their job. Okay? I'm sure among you, if you are in 4th year, some of you have started the classes online during the COVID-19. So in UUM, we have this group of people when they come in for the first time, face to face, and the first time using pen and pencil. When you write, your writing all going upward, because you've been using a lot of apps, you know, so you don't know how to write properly using pen and pencil. So this is what is happening also in the economy. Everything is going haywire, okay? So if you look at all around, each sector actually have their own way of impact. So government of Malaysia has come in and do a lot of intervention, same as Prof said mentioned just now, Prof has mentioned, in terms of monetary, fiscal, and also other types of intervention. Next, please. Okay, so I love this budget in 2021. Okay, at this time the government is different, but I love the idea of how the government of Malaysia of that time trying to find a ways of how we want to resolve this problem of COVID-19. Because after the collapse of economy in 2020, the government have to come in and do something on how we want to revive. So we start by resolve by using the MCO, the Movement Control Order. And then we try to find resilience through the vaccinations and also intervention by giving grants and everything to the SME especially, to allow them to revive and also to start their business again. And then we started, and then recovery and also revitalize, and then lastly, reform. We are now at the end of the pandemic, said so, but I don't think this will never end, okay? Next, please. Okay, so going forward 3 years later, February 2023, 64% of the world population is fully vaccinated. Only 64%. Okay, how many of you take 2 vaccines? Only 2. Me too. 3? Only 2? Some of you take booster, right? 3? 4? Anyone took 4? You ambil 4? I'm not going to go beyond 2. I'm afraid of COVID-19. I just got another circle of COVID-19 in May, but I'm not going to get any booster anymore because I think the body can revive on their own, you know, inshallah, kan? It's very dangerous to get so much of things inside your body, Okay, Denmark became the first European country to lift all COVID-19 restriction. Malaysia also in 2022. Okay, China on the other hand became the last country to discard its strict zero COVID policy in December 2022. So every country have different way of facing this type of crisis. Okay, next please. So looking at it, if you look at from the beginning of 2019 until 2024, you can see this is the changes of GDP in Malaysia. We have a very big downturn in 2020, and then we revive in 2021, then it's getting slower again between 2022 and 2024. Why? Anybody? Why the economy slowed down between 2022 to 2024? Anyone? Ke tak berani nak bercakap? Anyone? One of the biggest thing we face these current periods of years are war. And Prof, we are facing food security issues. We are facing trade issues due to Ukraine and Russian war. That's number one. Ukraine are among the biggest producers of most of the countries untuk agriculture especially. Yeah? Because of that, we are facing a lot of issues now. Now we also having issues about gas, fuel, due to Gaza, Israel, now Lebanon, Iran, Syria, that side of things. We're going to have another cycle of economic crisis in the coming years. I'm sure of it because the war doesn't seem to stop in these coming months. Okay. So Malaysia also having a lot of political downturn issues, you know. I think almost every countries are facing too. So these are the things that have slowing down. The contraction are getting, but the contraction is smaller, but then the phases of growth is slowing down due to many issues. Okay. So if you look at in 2022 to 2024, especially for Malaysia 2023 to 2024, it looks like stagnant almost because the growth is going, but it's going at a very slow phases. Okay, so next slide please. Okay, so these are what the government of Malaysia have done since the 2020 COVID-19 or coronavirus. So we have several stimulus packages, same as Indonesia. Okay, we have among the biggest, 530 billion has been spent by the government to do a lot of intervention from the economy side, the health and also the education, to allow people to move around as normal. So these are the programs that has been done by the government since 2020 until 2021, and it stopped in 2022. But then the program, the intervention, the changes that Prof has mentioned also happened to Malaysia. So we have been doing that until today, Prof, assisting the people, especially the 40% group of the people, which is we call B40, and also the middle class workers, because these are among the most affected by the COVID-19. Until today, we are still doing a lot of intervention by the government. Well, apart from all the issues, the complaint, the comments, we're still doing it for the matters of the rakyat or the people itself. We are trying a lot in terms of rejuvenating the businesses. So the financial assistance is still going in, still coming in. Okay, and then also trying to stimulate the economy. Even the education sector, the student now in Malaysia also are getting a lot of grants, yeah, startup grants, grant apa lagi ya, bantuan pembelajaran ke universities dan sebagainya, because we want them to find ways about how to go out and get job, or in other else you have to try get your own self to generate income. With the new coming up with a lot of platforms, you have media and everything, you can also doing your own way of creating your own job. Okay, next please. Okay, so the crisis recovery, learning from the COVID-19, these are the things that has been discussed by our Central Bank of Malaysia. So they are saying that why Malaysia very fast in terms of reviving or recovering from the COVID-19 is due to the background of the economy itself. So what the government is doing now, we are trying to find a way of how to build the resilience for the future crisis. So most of the intervention that the government are doing now is trying to ensure that for the coming crisis, if there's another cycle of crisis, we'll be able to give a better way of solutions, especially to ensure that employment will be at par or at a very secure and safe situation. So now the government have a lot of changes in terms of minimum wage for the government, for the public workers. So we try to highlight what are the needs in terms of employability. Second, we try to promote more equitable recovery. So these are trying to become more engagement with the marginalized group.
Prof,
On
5 minutes left.
Yeah, on how to help
you.
them, okay, to strive for the productivity, strengthening the social safety net. Sama juga macam Indonesia, kita juga tidak ada social nets untuk pekerja-pekerja gig contohnya. But then now we are doing together with the Employment Provident Fund, are becoming more progressive. Kita ada bagi insurance untuk mereka supaya mereka lebih secure and less risk in terms of going for work. We try to enhance policy effectiveness. These are very controversial because different government will have different approach, and sometimes for kita sebagai rakyat, kita nak benda tu cepat, perubahan itu cepat, tapi policy perlukan masa, minimum 5 years kalau economic punya policy. Next please. Okay, so kita juga dapati bahawa Malaysia is doing very well because of we have pre-pandemic stability. Previously, we have about 5 to 5.6% GDP, so almost similar to Indonesia. I think that somehow has saved us a bit on how to go forward. We have diversified export and trade, same like Indonesia. Social protection system for the rakyat before the gig coming in is also good. We have business environment strength before the COVID-19. Also, we have a lot of intervention by the government on how to help the businesses. And also, actually, Malaysia have a very good labor market policy even before the COVID-19. Next, please. Okay, so these are the 12 Malaysia plan. Prof, we finished in 2025. We're going to have another one in 2013. And for us in Economic and Financial Policy Institute in UUM, we are very honored because the Ministry of Economy has called us a few times to sit together to come up with the 13 Malaysia plan. So these are the 12 Malaysia plan. If we realize in the 12 Malaysia plan, what we are doing is to help the businesses more. We want the business to become more secure, more sustained, so they can go through another cycle of crisis. So these are the achievements in terms of economic growth, labor market. I'm not going to go through all. If not, the chairperson will ask me to go and sit down. Just 1 minute, okay? So well-being, and these are the achievements. And from here, we are now looking to create another, to develop the 13 Malaysia plan with another focus. Next, please. Next, please. Okay, these are the focus for the next 13 Malaysia plan. So the priority is almost the same. We are looking into how to go for more diverse economy. We have to look into technological advancement, which is now people are mostly facing the new era of AI, even though it's not new, but then it's a new trend of saying AI. And then we are trying to go into demographic adaptation, meaning that once you do any decision, you are looking into all the groups to be part of the rubrics and analysis. We are looking into environmental sustainability, where we try to inculcate the ESG, SDG and everything to fulfill the 2030 achievement. We are looking into social inclusivity to reduce socio-economic and regional disparities. And also we are looking into policy precisions and also sequencing. Next, please. Okay, so we are now under the Madani, so I'm not going to go through this. Next, it's going to be very long. It's just that I felt if we take away the political things, I think the G's from the Madani is very good if we be able to implement. So Malaysia now also going very strongly and very serious toward SDG. We have the SDG map for first phase and also second phase will be end in 2025. So the third phase will be going together with the 13 Malaysian Plan to achieve the SDG roadmap for 2030. Next, please. Okay, these are the risk landscape. For the first time in 2022, the risk index, if you go through the risk index for previous years, the number one is always about economy risk. But then in 2022, for the first time, the World Economic Index put the weather as the first challenge for the economy now. It's not the trade, it's not about businesses, it's about the weather because of the unstable of the weather itself. So this is going to be a bigger challenge for the coming years. If you see the green colors here on your right side, on your right side, right? On right side, all of it is about weather. Okay, it's not about the economy anymore because the weather now is very challenging. If you want to travel now, it's very scary for me. Bumping, kita travel kan sekarang banyak berlaku gegaran dan sebagainya, hujan dan sebagainya. Even next year dikatakan musim timur akan datang lebih lama dan lebih cepat. Jadi the greenhouse tu mungkin tidak lagi working well as what we expected before. Okay, so the rest is the rest. Okay, the next. Last year, Chair. Last year.
Okay.
Next, please. So these are the risk factor for the next coming years: geopolitical tension, climate change, cyber threat dan sebagainya. Then the last slide. This is last. Okay. AI. For me, AI role adalah sebagai satu automation because we try to humanize the machines. We ask machine to do us work. I'm sure students now are using ChatGPT, Slide GPT, all GPT. But you have to remember, you have to use it by putting the element of human, manusia, elemen manusia itu dalam teknologi itu. Kalau tidak, we will face another crisis because we are too depending on the machines to do decision for us. Even the student now are writing using ChatGPT, but we have ada apps kan untuk check kerja mereka ya. So hati-hati ya bila guna ChatGPT kan. So these are going to be another risk for the coming years. Okay, maybe we can rely on technology, Prof. But then we have to put the human element on the technology. So basically, if you're talking about ASEAN, you're talking about global, we are facing almost the similar issues on COVID-19. And I think everybody are using mitigation in terms of how to control. And I hope there'll be some questions from the floor about COVID-19, also experience from Indonesia, Malaysia, and also from the rest of our speaker. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Professor Sazida, for very informative presentation. The condition during COVID-19 in Malaysia is very affected deeply, especially for economics, their economics. And then, once again, thank you so much, Prof. Sazida. And we will move to our next speaker, Dr. Lee Jinping from National University of Singapore. Can you hear me? Because she will join with us from via Zoom. Dr. Lee Jinping. Can you hear me? Dr. Lee? Sorry, maybe you still mute your Zoom. Yes. Dr. Lee is a senior lecturer at Residential College 4 NUS. She obtained her bachelor degree in economics from Fudan University, China, and her master's and PhD degrees from the National University of Singapore. Her disciplinary research adopts the methodology of behavioral and experimental economics with a special focus on pro-social behavior, charity, gender differences, leadership, and digital economics. Her research outcomes are published in the peer-reviewed journals, including Economic Inquiry, Economic Letters, Contemporary Economic Policy, Journal of Institutional and Theoretical Economics, and many more. Dr. Lee, Please begin when you are ready. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Can I share my slides?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, can you see my slides?
Yes, yes, we can see your slide.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me in your prestigious conference. And I'm Jingping from National University of Singapore. So today my topic is regional integration through education. And I'm going to share with you about the one of the survey findings that we took for a field trip for NUS students going to visiting Indonesia, Lombok, and Sumba Island, and focus on the sustainability studies. As we know that today, in today's interconnected world, the urgency of addressing climate change and sustainability topics requires collaboration, especially cross borders like countries between Singapore and Indonesia. Singapore and Indonesia are neighbors, not only geographically close, but also there are a lot of environmental and economic interdependencies. Education plays a pivotal role in this collaboration because education equips young people with knowledge and skills to tackle sustainability challenges that affect both nations. So today I'm going to bring you some results and insights from the lessons that NUS students learn from their study trip to Indonesia. In academic year 2022, NUS launched a new overseas study trip program, which is known as Southeast Asia Friendship Initiative, in short, SFI. This study trip program focus or designed to increase NUS students' exposure to neighboring Southeast Asia countries through their engagement with local communities and partners like local universities, NGOs, enterprises, and trying to give students first-hand insights in the challenges of the stakeholders face in sustainable development. Because one of our focus is United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and how it affects and applied in different local communities. This is a credit-bearing modules. Some modules, some courses bear 2 credits, and some courses bear 4 credits. So that is a quite so-called serious or like having a lot of emphasis. So we'll put a lot of weight in this learning experiences, and of course NUS sponsored a lot for travel cost for students. So students are excited about this study trip, and they really have learned a lot based on the research findings that we conduct. Okay, so in response to NUS initiative, Residential College 4, this is one residential unit in NUS. Residential College 4 started a 3-year SFI course led by Prof. Tan Lai Yong, bringing students to Lombok and Sumba for their experiential learning on sustainability topics. In 2023 and 2024, we have conducted 4 10 to 12 day study trips, 2 trips each year, and we brought over 70 students to the beautiful beach and fishermen villages, local wet markets, and even water sources in Lombok and Sumba. And we had this privilege to visit University of Mataram in 2023, and we received a warm welcome. So I would like to extend my appreciation again through this opportunity. Yeah. So together with Prof. Dan Lai Yong and my colleagues in NUS, we designed a survey to measure the learning outcome of the study trips. The survey was carefully designed based on the intended learning of the course. And it was conducted before and after the trip. So here I'm going to share with you 3 insights we gained from this survey. So insight number 1, we find that overseas trips did increase students' exposure to the SEA countries, and in this case, Indonesia. We asked students, how many times did you visit Indonesia before COVID? From a pre-trip survey, we find that close to 80% of our students have never been to Indonesia in the past 5 years. This is quite surprising to us because Indonesia is really a close neighbor to Singapore. However, our students have very limited exposure to Indonesia. So this SFI trip brought them across the borders and really expand their horizons and open their eyes. We measure students' exposure to Indonesia by looking at their language proficiencies. We ask students to list the list the words and phrases of Bahasa Indonesia they know. And from this graph, we can see that before the trip, on average, students can list only like around 4.5 words of Bahasa Indonesia. If we exclude Malaysian students, this number is even lower. However, after the trip, many of the students were able to conduct simple conversations with locals, such as greetings and say hello and buy things from the market. So their vocabulary in Bahasa Indonesia almost tripled. Another measure of students' exposure to Indonesia is we let them to list the names of the islands they know about Indonesia, and before the trip, what they know are basically Bali and Bintan. Bintan is just cross. We can take like 40 minutes boat trip from Singapore to Bintan. It's a resort destination for Singaporeans. So they know only Bali, Bintan, and probably Jakarta. But after this trip, their knowledge in geography related to Indonesia actually has expanded. They know more places, and they know the local people, and they look at the map. They study the map of Indonesia, and they gain the knowledge of at least from the names, the numbers of islands they know. So this is the second evidence. And the second insight we gained from the study trip is that the SFI program increased students' knowledge in climate change in the local context. From the post-trip survey, we find that 85% of the students agree or strongly agree that the trip has helped them to understand climate change better. But is this true? We have another survey question. We test the students' understanding by asking them to answer a short question like discuss the relationship between poverty and climate change. We find that before the trip, an average answer takes about 31 words. But after the trip, it increased to 42 words. The word limit is 50 words. So it looks like students have more to say after the trip. We can look at some examples of what actually they say before and after the trip. So this is an answer to discuss the relationship between poverty and climate change. We have student A. Student A before the trip I don't know if it's he or she, but I just use he for simplicity, with no disrespect for ladies. So for this student, he mentioned in the pre-trip survey that the greater the extent of poverty, the less people care about climate change. This is his understanding before the trip. But after the trip, the student realized that with the shock of climate change, actually, the poor people, they are more vulnerable. It's not because they don't care, it's because they lose the resources, because they don't have the facilities or knowledge or resources to tackle climate change. We see there is a compassion gained through the trip that from the understanding of they don't care to actually they are not able to. So probably there something needs to be done. So there's a mutual understanding in this scenario. For student B, in this student, before the trip, when he talked about poverty and climate change, the student mentioned that impoverished students are affected most because of climate change. So the poor are affected by the climate change and looks like they are the victim. And they can only be the victim of climate change. There's nothing more they can do. They are at the worst end of the stick. However, after the trip, with a lot of interactions with locals and observations, and the students realized that local communities are not passively victim of climate change, but they are trying to adapt and evolve given the changes happening. And the local communities are trying to pick up new habits and let go of certain traditions to combat what they are facing now. So these students realize that their local communities subject to climate change are not only victims, they are also warriors, they are also fighters for a better future. So this is a new discoveries from this student. And for the last student, for the pre-trip, he just said, not sure. It looks like he doesn't really care or he didn't even make an effort to answer this question. But after the trip, he realized that actually there's quite a lot of topics and there are a lot of things to think about. And it's not just about nature and it affects in particular food security and it affects people's income. And it looks like there are some new insights gained through the trip. Similarly, after we visit the villages, the fish farm, the sorghum farm, the students answer questions related to food security also gain significantly longer and there are more insights. Food security is another theme of our study trip. So here I'm not going to expand for the answers for this particular question. Lastly, the third insight is that we find that the SFI program increase students' openness to working in Indonesia. So before the trip, we see that students' perception regarding the work opportunities for them are sort of evenly distributed. About 35% were neutral or negative of seeing themselves working in Indonesia. But after the trip, a majority of the students see that there is actually more opportunities for them and they are more willing to get engaged. This is another evidence of students' willingness to engage with local business and communities. We see a huge increase in the option of strongly agree from the pre-trip to the post-trip. So when we talk about regional integration, I believe the key integration is not money, it's not policy, it's not strategy, but it's the integration of people. So people from different places, they share common values, they see common challenges, they share common visions and interests can come together to work together for a better common future. So in this sense, I believe that the study trips initiated by NUS that bring Singaporean students to Indonesia really serve this purpose very well. To conclude, We find from our survey and also from my own interaction with our students that this SFI has broadened students' exposure to Indonesia, our very dearly neighboring country. And when students talk about Indonesia, it's no longer just Bali or Bintan for vacation, but they can see the challenges and they can they can think of real people and real life. This trip also connected the sustainable development to real life, real work, and real needs. For our students, climate change and food security are right now beyond the pure concepts or United Nations reports. Lastly, the SFI trip also in the heart of the students. These experiences underscore the importance of regional integration of combating climate change and preparing our students to be Asia ready. As students from Singapore engage with Indonesian communities, they develop connections that strengthen a shared commitment of climate change and climate action. So this educational initiative help nurture a generation of future leaders, both for Singapore and for Indonesia, who are not only just equipped with knowledge, but also with empathy and intercultural understanding needed to support the policies that drive local resilience. So in the face of climate change that threaten both countries' stability and prosperity, nurturing this cross-border understanding through education is a crucial step toward building a more sustainable future for Singapore, for Indonesia, and for the broader Southeast Asian region. So, as I conclude, let's enjoy a video project from one of our student groups in the 2023 batch after they visit Lombok and Sumba.
Climate change in Lombok and Sumba, a story of the sea and resilience. Mina Tanjong Beach Hotel lulled us into a state of paradise, with picturesque coastlines and idyllic fishermen. However, Tanjong Loa Shark Market jolted us into the realities of climate change.
The sea is like very dangerous for them.
For the local communities here, rising sea levels and coastal temperatures are very real threats. We learned that the seawalls here are subsidized by the local government to combat rising sea levels. But as we watched the waves crash against the stone walls, we wondered, how much longer can these seawalls hold off the waves of climate change? We met Sam near the market. He has been living here his entire life, living off the sea to support him and his family. He is helpless against climate change.
On the west side there is no river, inside there is a river. When the big wave, so the water cannot go out, so the flood from the hill come, and then the water is big and the big wave, so our village is flooding.
Their last resort is to leave the sea when sea levels get too high, but we realized that not many families can do that.
Still stay in there until the sea become better.
Sam is not the only person worried about the rising sea levels. These locals, who rooted their lives in Tanjong Loa, all express their concerns. They have limited options, with the sea being their only source of livelihood.
The windy, the people cannot go into the sea, and they cannot take their many fish.
At one of the stalls, we chatted up with a fisherman turned fish farmer. He told us that as sea level rises, he has to fish further from the shoreline and fishing becomes more dangerous. Winds and storms are also becoming more unpredictable. Recently, fish farming is an increasingly popular alternative to traditional fishing. But even that comes with its challenges.
They put some, I think more than 1,000 of grouper, the small one, and then they're growing up, they're feeding. I think they have a couple time of efforts and they need it. But after that, they're trying the progress, and it is not good. So many grouper without much area.
Putting ourselves into the shoes of those in Lombok's fishing industry, we glimpsed how rising sea levels would devastate these communities. Our trip to the Turtle Conservatory elucidated the stresses turtles face from rising coastal temperatures. Our group had already known that the turtles are subject to temperature-dependent sex determination. As such, we asked Darwin, a 22-year-old helping out at the conservatory, about the ratio of male to female turtles in Lombok shores. While he admitted that there are no statistics regarding the issue, with current research by the Journal of Current Biology, it was found that 87% of mature turtles are female, and it is likely that the similar situation is happening in Lombok. If this trend continues, turtle biodiversity will be at great risk. As we reflect on the past few days, the realities of climate change here in Lombok and Sumba become ever so apparent. The picturesque coastal settlements we once saw as paradise are now battlegrounds against the rising tides and soaring temperatures. But amidst the challenges, the resilience and determination of the local communities shine through. The people here are not waiting for others to solve their problems. They are taking charge, implementing solutions, and educating themselves and their fellow villagers about the impacts of climate change. Climate change affects us all, and it requires collective effort and collaboration to create meaningful change. Let us remember that the power to combat climate change lies within each of us. Through awareness, action, and a shared commitment, we can safeguard our planet for future generations.
Hey, thank you very much. This is the learning and reflections from our students. It shows that the gaining in awareness and abilities plant the seeds of future cooperation. In the coming year 2025, we will visit Lombok again, and I hope that we can visit University of Mataram and learn more from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lee, for your interesting research about the regional integration through education, sustainability lessons from NUS students in Lombok. Very interesting because how NUS students unfamiliar with Indonesia, although we are neighboring, and also the trip affects students to care about climate change. Very interesting. Thank you once again for Dr. Lee. Okay, we next move to our last speaker, Ms. Farzana binti Itekhar, MBA. Farzana is fellow at Beijing International Studies University, China, and she will join with us via Zoom. Maybe Farzana has already joined with us. Farzana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
With the camera.
But we can't. Oh yeah. Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. Yeah, time is yours, Farzana. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Waalaikumsalam. Let me share my slide. Share it.
Farzana, can you share your screen?
Yeah, I'm trying to share. Okay. Share screen. Sorry for. Okay. Let me share now. Can you see the screen? Oh,
Yes, yes, Farzana.
oh,
Yes, you can start
okay.
your presentation.
Okay. Okay, I'm today. Thanks for this opportunity. Among the very talented person, I have the opportunity to present uh, my ideas. And today I'm going to describe about the forecasters that help to maintain a sustainable tourism development in this post-pandemic time in Bangladesh. So first of all, I will give you an overview of Bangladesh. Bangladesh is located in South Asia, and one third of its border is covered by India, and another is in the east part is Myanmar, and the south part is in the Bay of Bengal. It has a monsoon climate, and it's mainly tropical. We are the weather is tropical, and it's a mild wind in the combination with mild winter. And Bangladesh is a land of rivers, so it makes its land fertile. And it has a great history and culture. Bangladesh got independence in 1971 before it was a part of Pakistan. In we are called before liberation war, we are called East Pakistan. But now we have our own identity, Bangladesh. Then economy, Bangladesh is a growing economy. It's not Bangladesh is not a developed country, but it's developing country. So we have most of the income comes from the garment industry, and then from agriculture, and maybe
Farzana, Farzana,
yes.
I'm so sorry, your slide is not moving.
Uh, but I'm seeing it's okay here.
Yeah, your slide is not moving correctly.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Let me share it again.
Yes, you can share it again and try it again to.
Can you? Now
Yes,
it's okay.
yes, yes. Now it's moving.
Okay. So the economic of Bangladesh is mostly derived from ready-made garment, I mean garment industry. Most of our income, our GDP, we gain from garment industries, and then we agriculture, and almost 20% of our GDP comes from the tourism sector. Bangladesh has a tourism sector. And the people here, we in Bangladesh is a mostly most densely populated country. Over in Bangladesh, almost we are like 160 million people living in Bangladesh, and mostly almost 91% of the people are Muslims, and 8% people are Hindus, and rest are the Buddhists, Christians, and others religion. And but although different people of different caste and uh, cultures live here, but we have a strong bond between among ourselves, and we make our life very easy, and we are very hospitable. Bangladeshi peoples are mostly famous for their hospitality. So the tourism sector has a great future in Bangladesh. So Bangladesh offers very unique tourism experiences, and they have the very unique natural landscapes, and the world's largest mangrove forest is located in Bangladesh, that's Sundarbans, and the longest sea beach, which is Cox's Bazar, is located also in Bangladesh. And there are different kinds of places, and there are hill tracks and other places, and historical places that really attracts tourists all over the world. During because of this COVID, uh, there is a drastic hold down in tourism sector. As you know, I told you that Bangladesh is a developing country, so it has a lot of things to maintain, except for tourism sector, and they are because they have to maintain the localities, lifestyle, and others issues. Have to deal with natural calamities because the climate of Bangladesh, although it's monsoon tropical, but it's also vulnerable because there are a lot of natural calamities every year, like uh, storms, typhoons, floods, and etc. etc. So during COVID-19, there's a really drastic fall down in tourism sector. First of all, not only in tourism sector, all over in any other sectors in Bangladesh. First of all, the economic losses. Tourism industry saw a very sharp decline in the revenue due to restricted of travel and lockdowns. Popular destinations like Cox's Bazar, Sundarbans, and Chittagong's Hills Track, and loss of substantial income, impacting business that rely on tourist spending, such as hotels, restaurant, transport service, etc., and tour operators. They get a very they get a very uh, drastic losses in their businesses. Second, job loss and livelihood impacts. Most of the people, because for lockdown, the lack of tourists and lack of international dismisses in the international flights and lack of income revenue, many people lost their jobs. Many small businesses they stopped their business activities, and many local people in the tourist spots, their regular living standards has declined a lot. So this really affects the people's uh, regular lifestyle. Collapse of supporting businesses. Uh, there are lots of when there are lots of small businesses uh, different tourist, around different tourist places, such as uh, handicrafts and small souvenirs. These kind of businesses also decline because of this COVID-19 situation. And environmental management challenge. Uh, COVID-19 has a very, I will say, there's a small blessings in uh, uh, environmental environmental situation. I will say that mm, many tourist places like natural, like I will say the sea beaches and the forest areas, hill tracks, lack of tourists, they get cleaned by themselves naturally. Because sometimes before, if the places are uh, visited by tourists frequently, there's mm, due to maintenance or some lack of the authority, lack of the authorities responsibilities, there's a huge pollution threat over the trees, these of natural areas. So, due to COVID-19, uh, environment cleaning environment is a little bit easier for maintaining, but due to of lack of revenue, it gets challenging. Loss of investment in tourism Okay. Many planned tourism projects and infrastructure developments were postponed and cancelled, affecting the expansion of Bangladesh tourism capabilities. Without sufficient funding and projects to improve accessibility to remote areas and to build eco-friendly facilities were put on hold, which could limit future tourism growth. Deterioration of tourist sites. Some cultural and historical sites reliant on regular maintenance and funded by tourism revenue deteriorate during pandemic. With limited funds and authorities and to maintain this attraction, which are vital to Bangladesh cultures and heritage and appeal international tourists. Loss of next loss of international tourist market. Border closures and flight restrictions severely affected international arrivals, which are the key to foreign exchange earnings. Bangladesh's image as tourist destination also faced challenges, and travelers sought destinations with strong health and safety protocols, impacting sectors' competitiveness. Uh, and last is psychological and social impacts. The communities depends on tourism and face psychological stresses due to financial uncertainty and in isolation. Social structures in smaller tourism and focused communities were strained as residents migrated or changed occupations affecting the culture identity that often attracts tourists. These challenges highlighted the need to resilience planning and sustainable practices in Bangladesh tourism sectors, reinforcing and the importance of diversifying income and sources, implementing eco-friendly tourism models, and investing crisis response infrastructure to protect industry from the future disruptions.
Farzana,
Now,
I'm so sorry, you have 5 minutes left. I'm so sorry.
okay, okay, I will be
Yeah.
finished.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm. Okay. They are the they are the key forecasters for uh, sustainable tourism development. First is government policy and investment. Strong governmental support and investment in tourism infrastructure will be essential. Policies that promotes eco-friendly tourism and invest in green infrastructure. For example, waste management systems, renewable energy in tourist zones can help to create sustainable models. This includes implementing guidelines to minimize the environmental impacts and encouraging responsible travel behavior. Next is community involvement and empowerment. Local community participation will uh, be the crucial for sustainable tourism, empowering communities, especially around the areas like Sundarbans, Cox's ensure they benefit economically from the tourism and are motivated to protect the environment. Community-led tourism initiatives can also offer the critical authentic cultural experience, attracting eco-conscious travelers. Now, digital transformation of marketing. Utilizing digital platforms to promote Bangladesh tourism offerings will be vital. A strong outline presence showcasing attractions like tea gardens, river cruises, historical sites can attract international travelers. Additionally, digital booking and payment system also, along with virtual tours, can increase convenience for tourists to improve reliance against the future disruptions. Health and safety standards. Obviously, it's important. The pandemic has highlighted awareness of health and safety concern and implementing the rigorous standards of hospitality and transportation will be essential. Now, nature-based and ecotourism. Bangladesh natural beauty and biodiversity makes it ideal nature-based tourism, which appeals tourists for seeking eco-friendly experiences. Destinations like Sundarbans, Cox's Bazar, sea lakes, rainforests can be promoted at ecotourism sites with measure and place prevent over-tourism, such as limiting visitors' number of encouraging sustainable practices. Infrastructures and accessibility.
Sorry,
Developing
Farzana,
transportation. Yes.
you are disappear from us.
Oh.
Yes, I think we have a problem with the Zoom, so you are disappear right now. We cannot see your presentation.
But but
Yeah. Okay, you can
I'm
still
yeah.
continue. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Please, you can still continue, please.
Okay. My slides. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
And
We
then
still
it's
have 2 minutes left.
okay. Now it's climate change and adoption. As a Bangladesh is a climate vulnerable country. Bangladesh must integrate climate adaptations into the tourism strategy. This includes safeguarding coastal areas and rising sea level cyclones and ensuring that tourism activities are resilient to these changes. And then the last is public-private partnership. This is a very important thing that collaboration between private and government sectors can lead more effective tourism initiatives by partnering with local and international investors. Bangladesh can attract funds for eco-friendly resorts, cultural festivals, and adventure tourism, creating diversity and sustainable tourism offerings. So incorporating these forecasters can help Bangladesh tourism sector become a model for sustainable growth and attract eco-conscious travelers and create long-term economic benefits to preserving country's rich cultural and natural heritage. And these are some figures for sustainable tourism, and this is the marketing tools. I will not describe it because lack of time.
Enggak seminar.
And thanks.
Okay, thank you. Please give applause to Farzana that already present for us the sustainable tourism in Bangladesh and the experience of Bangladesh during the COVID-19 time. So Farzana is our last speaker for today. So we will move to Q&A session. But before, I would like to thank of all for speakers. And yeah, we will begin our Q&A session. So we only have one session for three participants. I invite you, all of students and our colleagues from University of Mataram and Multimedia University, students from Multimedia University of Malaysia. Please, if you have any questions for all of our speakers, today's speakers, please raise your hand. Any question? If you have some question, both for speakers in our dome today or in the Zoom. Yes. Yeah, the participants from Zoom, maybe if you have any question, you can raise your hand. Okay. Mick, please, do you have any? Yes, first participant, please tell your name and your questions. Okay.
Thank you before for Mr. Risan Adha, my friends from University of Mataram. My name is Ahmad Dinal Wafik. I'm a lecturer. I'm a lecturer in Department of Economics and Development, University of Mataram. I would like to ask us two questions, both from Professor Mansur Afifi and also from Associate Prof. Sazida. So the first question is for Prof. Mansur Afifi is about in the presentation you state that Indonesia have populations in the middle in the middle set income. So what's exactly the problem if we still have a big number of middle set of people in Indonesia, and how Indonesia address the problem? That's the questions for Prof. Mansur Afifi. And the second questions for Associate from Sazida. So I would like ask about something like food security in Malaysia. How government, how policy in Malaysia address the food security? Because we know that Indonesia, Malaysia, and another country in Southeast Asia face some same problem like food security. We know Indonesia, in East Indonesia, we face the same problem in food security. How about Malaysia? Is there any region in Malaysia have a case of food security, or in the capital city maybe have like problem with food security? How Malaysia address that problem? I think it's enough, Mr. Risan Adha.
Thank you, Mr. Wafik. My colleagues from Department of Development Economics. He has two questions, both for Professor Mansur and Professor Sazida. The first questions, he asked about the middle income in Indonesia and why it's so big. And the second question is for Professor Sazida. Mr. Wafik asked about the food security in Malaysia and the government policy in Malaysia, particularly in the case of food security. Yeah. Okay. Maybe any questions? One more questions? Okay, one more questions for students.
Check.
Okay, please stand up.
Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. But before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is Widiatul Jannah, and I'm from Mataram University with a major economics development. The United Nations World Tourism Organization estimate that international tourism recovery will be achieved by 2024. But turns out that we can see that Indonesia, especially in Lombok, there are still problems. And one of which the technology and digital literacy is low. Most tourism actors in Lombok still have limitation in digital knowledge and skill. And my question is, what strategies or can be done by the government or stakeholder maybe to reduce this problem? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vidya. Vidya is our student. Please give applause to Vidya to encourage another students. Maybe if you have any question. Okay, Vidya asked about the UN estimate. UN estimate in the 2024 tourism will back to normal. However, in Indonesia, especially in Lombok, the digital literacy is a serious problem. And as we know, the digital literacy is related to the marketing of tourism. So what strategy can be done to fix these issues? That's all? Yes. So what strategy can be done to fix the issues of digital literacy related to the tourism, to boost the tourism sector in Indonesia and especially in Lombok Island? Okay, we have 3 questions. Maybe speaker can answer the questions both for Prof. Sazida and Prof. Mansur Afifi.
Okay, terima kasih atas soalan tentang food security. So for Malaysia, household itself spend about more than 70% on food, you know. So that's something we need to look seriously, because of course when you talk about household and you talk about food, that is the main thing for everybody. Okay? So for Malaysia, we also very much depend on imported food from our neighboring country, from Indonesia, from Thailand, from China, and of course from Ukraine, part of it, as the production process. Some of the like makanan ternakan dan sebagainya kita import. So what the government are doing now, the government are pushing more policies toward giving more incentive to increase productivity locally. At the same time, the universities, for example, are giving full responsibility to help to generate for the small sizes farms, for example, in certain rural area. Yeah? At the same time, the government now is also given more incentive on trying to find a new way of production using new technology. But we cannot avoid from depending on other countries. So the expectation of more spending by the government in, buying more food will be there. But in terms of production locally, I don't think it can meet the 70% needed of the household. So we are still depending on other countries, import from other countries. But when looking at the policies, government are put more money, more incentive to provide more productivity, local production, more productivity through helping small farmers, and also controlling imported supaya kita local lebih berminat untuk hasilkan barangan sendiri. But it's not easy because the mindset is different. We have small-scale farmers that are lacking in terms of production, infrastructure, pengeluaran itu, machineries. They don't have a bigger land. Not like Indonesia. I know the announcement has been made. They have allocated big land for production of more agriculture production. Yeah, but di Malaysia benda itu belum berlaku. So even we have Kedah field. Kedah is known for paddy field. But then the production is not as big as we expected because people now are not really into agribusiness. So we are trying to inculcate modern way of doing production in terms of food, in terms of agriculture production, because we wanted the young also to get involved in the production of agriculture product. And we have few now involving seriously and able to produce more, but we need more people to get into these businesses because the young now are going into more technology-based product or end product, not towards this natural production. So government are looking seriously into it. So we hope in the future we'll get more. But I think the dependable in terms import are still there. We cannot avoid from import goods in terms of food production.
Okay, thank you. Bagaimana, Taufik? Okay. Thank you, and we move to Prof. Mansur.
Okay, about middle class. In Indonesia, middle class is categorized as a group of population whose income is above poverty line, and the proportion of middle class in Indonesia is about 66% 0.35%. And they contribute to the whole country's consumption about 81.49%. So middle class play a very significant role in influencing the economic growth, because middle class contribute to the highest contribution of consumption, and also they has a potential to have a saving. So if middle class decrease or go down to the lower class, then actually the rate of saving will be also decreasing. That's why middle class should be strong, because middle class can contribute to the saving, and saving become investment, and investment can boost the economic growth. That's why middle class is very, very important, and we have to preserve, don't let them decreasing or go down to the lower class. And the second one, digital literacy. Yeah, of course, this is our duty to promote digital literacy, and the government should take a certain, measurement to improve the situation. Because if we are now lack in digital literacy, we can compete with other countries or other people. So we have to do much thing to improve the situation. And moreover, government should provide infrastructure, digital infrastructure, so that maybe if you meet the candidacy of regional governor, now in election in the general governor, ask them how to improve the digital literacy, because as I think they have resources to improve the condition of digital infrastructure. Digital infrastructure, we need digital infrastructure. Also, we need also the measurement to improve the literacy of our people. I think that is yes, please.
Okay. I'd like to share two things. First is about the middle class. We in Malaysia, we have segregate the group between M40, B40, and also the lower income group. So we say B40 because we are taking the 40% of the total population according to certain level of wage. So if you are 3,800 and below, you are the group of B40. Lower than that, you become poor, and also the marginalized group. Okay, so we have also M40. So M40 has been a great issue in Malaysia because we become like a sandwich between the T20 and the B40. So we were like the provider for the two group. Yeah. So same issue in Malaysia. We are trying to find a way, because you have to remember the 40% of group, whether you B40 or M40, they will always be there in the economy. They will never go away. It's either you fall under B40 or you going up into M40. It depends on the salary scale. So there's many issues about how you identify them in terms of this group, whether you are looking into the household income or you want to look at into the population income. So there's still an ongoing argument about this. But for Malaysia, there has been a lot of incentive by the government to help boost the household living for the M40 and also B40, and of course the poor group. But then it's still an issue, Prof, because they said targeting incentive, but we're not sure how you want to target to the right group, because this group keep changing, and you cannot say today I'm M40, tomorrow I might fall under B40. So these issues are still continuing. So I still believe that you cannot find one definite policy to resolve the issues of B40. It goes back to how we want to identify the group itself. Second, about the literacy just now, we in Malaysia also having the same issues. We are also going to the 2030 SDG. So one of the rubric is also the literacy. So what we do in Malaysia now, we engage a lot with social enterprise, social entrepreneurship program, the SE. So through SE, we go into rural area by inculcate them with knowledge on how to use the lowest way of digital. So you must also look into how you define digital literacy, because digital itself have a very huge way of interpretation. So if you are saying about how to literate people on how to use the technology, what we are doing now is try to literate people how to use the phone, not only for calling, but also more towards how to use this technology to generate income. So if you're asking about how to literate them to digital, the issue is for what? If you ask them about they know or not, I think everybody, if you ask about how to use this phone, everybody knows. But what we want them to know is we want them to be literate using the technology to become more better in their living, to become well-being in terms of their well-being. So at least the technology can help them to generate more income. So now in Malaysia, the universities are given more responsibility through the Ministry of Economy. For example, us in University Utara Malaysia, we just got another grant worth 4.5 million in terms of how to make the rural, the kampong people who are having small businesses to generate their own income through producing chili, Prof. Menanam chili saja. Tapi along the way, we inculcate them on how to use the phone, the technology that we can found in the market, on how to use this for their managing their farming, managing their financing. So we want them to be literate for more than just knowing the technology is there. So it's very important for us, for example, you student, you can make programs to help to inculcate your neighboring, not only asking from the government, because we have to change our mind now. We no longer can depending what government can do for us. This is my own opinion. Okay, nothing to do with anybody, but I always felt that we always thinking about what government have to do to us. But sometimes we also must have some portion in our life about what we can do for our government or for our neighboring, how we can help our neighbor instead of waiting for the help from other people. I think in that way we can have more achievement, Prof, and the impact will be much bigger. If we waited for the governments have their own constraint, funding especially. That's number one. Number two, I think we must also asking the other institution, non-government institution to come in, especially the private, to help us through their CSR, to help them providing infrastructure to the rural. We in Malaysia, if you go to Sabah, Sarawak, even Kedah is the number 4th lowest income state in Malaysia. So we inculcate more private to come in, to give us more funding, for example, to create more infrastructure. In that manner, I think they will help to grow much faster and better to illiterate the country itself. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Please give applause to our speakers today. This is the last question from Vidya. As we conclude, let's reflect our insightful discussions for today's seminar regarding sustainable development, tourism after pandemic time. It's very interesting, very provoking, and very intriguing. And I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to our speakers, both online and offline, to Professor Mansur Afifi and Professor Sazida. Thank you for your time, and we welcoming you again for the next session, next agenda. And I invite you all to stay connected and continue this important conversation. And I'd like to invite our head of Department of Development Economics, and our chair of committee, Mr. Baiul Haq, and Dr. Lulu Fadlianti to hand over certificate to the speakers. Please join us to the stage, Mr. Muhammad Baiul Haq and Dr. Lulu Fadlianti. Please give applause to Professor Mas Rafifi and Professor Sajida. And let's take a picture together, Prof. And together, all of the participants, you can move to the centers maybe, so you can on the frame together. Ibu Sekjur, silakan Ibu cantik. Please stand up, all of the participants. Online participants, maybe you can join to take a picture together. Lead. Okay, thank you. Please give applause. And for all of the participants, you can scan the barcode to get a certificate. And scan barcode for the certificate. And I will close today's conference. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please, untuk semua partisipan bisa scan barcode untuk mendapatkan online sertifikat. Online sertifikat bisa didapatkan dengan melakukan scan barcode. Saya berikan ke Master of Ceremony.
Thank you, Mr. Rizan Ada MA, that has become the moderator of this international conference. And also thank you so much to our judges speakers, Miss Professor Malgorzata Tabaran from Collegium Civitas Poland,
and Mr. Dr. David Zhang from Murdoch University, Australia.
Mr. Professor Mansur Afifi from University of Mataram, Indonesia.
Miss Dr. Lee Jinping from National University of Singapore.
Associate Professor Sajida Janmot PhD from University Utara, Malaysia.
And the last, Miss Farzana Binte Iftekhar MBA MM from Beijing International Studies University in China. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to our great speakers.
And our event today. May I speak in bahasa? Sekali lagi boleh kita berikan tepuk tangan yang meriah untuk seluruh speaker dan juga kita semua yang ada di ruangan ini.
We as the Master of Ceremony would like to apologize if there are any mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.